Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop again this week. And it was a pretty big week for me. I got 7 comics. Plus, I got the new Image Plus magazine, which I haven't been getting because they started it over with Volume 2, and it kind of, I was like, I didn't want to get it, but my comic shop owner just gave it to me for free. He's like, yeah, here, take one. Better you get it than I throw them in the garbage. So this lets me know all of the... I actually haven't liked a ton of the new Image comics for the last year, I think. I'm trying to think if I got any new Image comics in the last year. That's pretty neat looking. But there was a while... Well, my pull list is pretty full anyway, so... Though I did add one thing to it this week. Since, you know, Invincible got canceled. I had room for one more thing. I'll show you that. But there's a Image Plus freebie. For the first comic of the week, we have The Walking Dead, issue 177, New World Order, part 3 of 6. Focusing on Kirkman, Adlard, Guardino, Godiano, and Rathburn. This is kind of, you know, The Walking Dead characters go to the big city. They found this new colony of people that has a lot of people there, and they went there to check it out. They sent a small expeditionary force, and it's all about contact with this new group of people. So we'll see if they wear this colorful body armor and look like stormtroopers. At least their security people do. So we'll see how this story works out. I still enjoy The Walking Dead, so I'm still getting it. And next we have Uber Invasion, number 12. Kieran Gillen and Daniel Getty. I think last issue what happened was there was kind of a decisive battle in the battle for the United States, and the U.S. won, but at what cost? I think it's the story will be shifting to Russia or Europe soon. Up there's Hitler. And this what if superheroes were invented by the Germans at the end of World War II story. Something on the back. Cross plus 100 Mimic. I just started reading some digital copies of Crossed and have been enjoying them. But it's not a book for the faint-hearted. Lots of sex and gore in it. But Uber Invasion, back to this one. Excellent book. Check it out. East of West, issue number 36. I think it's been a couple of months since I've seen this book. Nick Dragata on the art. Hickman on the writing. Martin on the colors, I guess. Yeah. Frank Martin on the colors. Yeah, Jonathan Hickman, Nick Dragata, Frank Martin, and Russ Wu-Tang. There's a big shooting war now that the whole series has led up to. Oh, this is the technology-based American Indian Society. They're small in numbers, but they've got lots of fancy technology. But they don't really want to get involved in any war because their numbers are so small. They fear they'll lose it. And different parts of what would be the United States are all fighting each other. And our future dystopia, end of the world, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse story. This whole story has to do with the end of the world. A prophecy is happening, I guess. That they don't really mention the prophecy much, but supposedly end times, and the 4 horsemen have come. And there's supposed to be a big battle, and then we'll see what happens. The battle is finally here, though. East of West. And next we have Terry Moore, Strangers in Paradise, issue number 2, volume 4, I think this is, right? What's that? Is that 25? Why do they have a 25 there? Been enjoying this one. Enjoyed the first issue, where, you know, I bought plenty of Strangers in Paradise before. That's Kachu. She's hunting down some. It's kind of hard to explain. Strangers in Paradise is a slice of life story. I do not seek, I find, with some sort of adventure elements thrown in. One of the adventure elements is one of the lead characters, Kachu, used to belong to this secret all-female society of warriors and assassins or something, and one of them has got caught up in some congressional investigation and had to testify, or there's some testifying going on, and now is on the run, and the other ones are looking for her, and Kachu's looking for her to try and save her life, but the Parker girls, that's what they're called. Well, some of the other Parker girls want to kill her, and we'll see what happens. I like all the Terry Moore stuff, so check it out. And next we have The Wicked and the Divine. Another Gillen written book with McKelvey on the art, Wilson and Cowles. This was just 34. Let's see. I think this is another one that has been building. It's nearly 600 years ago. It's never happened before. Whatever that means. This, I guess we get a flashback in this one. But this one much like, what the heck, East of West, the promised big battle is finally happening. Uh-oh, heads in a bag. For our Wicked and the Divine. I have to say, that what was the last, this one's been on hiatus, but there was a Wicked and Divine special, 1923, which, once again, that one attempted to marry comics with sort of text. And that almost never works for me. And I didn't even make it through all the text, which I didn't particularly like, to these, 7 pages of comics interspersed throughout text. I was like, I just wish creators would stop trying that, because it just drives me bonkers, because it almost never works. I like to read. I read books, but when I read comics, I want to read comics. When I want to read text, I'll read text. So I don't know why people want to keep marrying them together in the world of comics, but they do. Notice they never try that in the world of books. They never say, well, let's throw a bunch of comics in the middle of this. But in the world of comics, sometimes they want to throw a bunch of text in the middle, and it just annoys me. And here we go with the surprise of the week, Frankenstein, Alive, Alive, issue number 4. By Niles, Wrightson, and Jones. I showed up on my poll, written by Steve Niles, illustrations by Bernie Wrightson and Kelly Jones. Showed up on my poll list, and I was kind of shocked, because I had read months and months ago that Kelly Jones was going to finish up this, because Bernie Wrightson died before he finished it. So it's like Bernie Wrightson did 4 pages, and Kelly Jones did the rest. But I had read that, Kelly Jones was going to finish up this story, and then I never heard a word about it. It's a 4-issue series. The first 3 of, I think, 2016 was when issue 3 came out. Story of Frankenstein coming alive again a few years later. So Kelly Jones did a pretty good job. But I was just surprised to see it. I didn't know it was coming out, and I haven't heard anyone mention it in months. We'll see if it shows up on anyone else's videos but mine, because since it was still on my poll list, I of course got it. But I can't wait to read it. The very last thing Bernie Wrightson did. And our last thing is The Highest House, which is magazine-sized, and $4.99 from IDW. And I actually got this one because there was 3 number 1s that I had room for one, because Invincible just got canceled. And I said, you know what? I want to put something in its place on my pull list. And so, what came out this week? Oblivion Song, the new Robert Kirkman one. This one, which is by Mike Carey and Peter Gross. And Gideon's Falls, is that it? The new Jeff Lemire one. I was like, you know what? I want to pick up one of those, but I didn't know which one. So then I went online and borrowed some copies, some digital copies from a friend of mine, and read. So I've already read this, The Highest House, and this was the clear winner of the number 1s for me this week. I just enjoyed it very much. I can't wait to read a physical copy of it. And it's tough to tell it's tough to describe the story, except that I think it's going to be a fantasy tale, a coming-of-age fantasy tale. We've got this guy right here who lives in the high house. He's like the procurer. He's like the manager of the high house. And he goes out into this medieval world looking to buy slaves. And so all the slaves get bought. And this little boy is one of the slaves, and there's something special about him. We don't know what. Where's the little boy? And there's the little boy. There's something special about him. We don't know what yet, but the guy likes him. And then they go back to the big house, and the little boy becomes a roofer. What's funny, they gave us a whole, we get a whole page of roofing instructions. When do you see that in a comic, huh? Old-timey roofing instructions page. And there's his mentor in roofing. And it's kind of a fantasy book, kind of a slice of life book, kind of a historical fiction book. We'll see it good. It's very nicely made. You can see it's got gloss and matte sections on it, and is magazine size. And like I said, this was I read the 3 number ones digitally, and now this is the one that made it on my pull list. The other 2 were just This is the one that jumped out at me. So the highest house, we're going with that. Finally, we'll give you a look at my background artwork. These are a couple of Dreams of Things covers that I drew up this past weekend. We got number 55 and 56. This one with a vertical logo. Let me see if I can reach it. We're going to color these with marker eventually. I already scanned them in this way too. With our long, slender woman floating in the air and our strange alien thing with his striped hat. And then we got another one with a, I don't know what, a woman with horns, big eyes, and skinny little waist, and an eye thing over there, and textures. Not sure what the colors are going to look like in that in the end. I'll have to figure that out when I get to that stage, but they'll sit around until then. You know, sometimes I ink them, and then they sit around and wait until I feel like coloring them someday. And someday I will. But until then, you guys all have a good week out there.